Hi everybody. Okay, I'm here to talk about something. A few years ago, Nylon Magazine wrote an article about me. It was called Globelamp, Elizabeth LeFay on Sean Lennon, Violence Against Women and the Right to Protest. They published this article after the author Laura Stewart has talked to me for like 2 hours on the phone about how I protested Desert Days, the festival. So we had a long conversation, and the next day the article was up. A lot of people shared it, and the next thing I knew, the article was just taken offline, and it was never explained to me why. Nylon never gave me a reason. The writer never gave me a reason. It was just completely taken offline. I spent hours of my time rehashing the story with the writer, only to have them delete it and not even tell me why. But the thing is, I saved the whole article. I feel like it's even more relevant now in the year 2018. It's quite a shame they deleted it. I'm going to read you it. Globelamp's Elizabeth LeFay on Sean Lennon, Violence Against Women and the Power of Protest. I want to help women to stand up and use their voices more. Elizabeth LeFay didn't expect 140 characters to be so loaded. Given social media metrics, the 27-year-old knew it was likely that only a handful of her almost 3,000 Twitter or 8,000 plus Instagram followers would even see her call to protest Desert Days, a popular psych festival held every year in Joshua Tree, California. It wasn't the first time LeFay had used social media to speak out against Foxygen. Back in 2013, which she had only started making music under the name Globelamp, I was actually making it before that, she was a member of the group. After exiting in the wake of a controversial Tumblr post in which she called into question the toxic environment she had endured while with the band, she revealed that band member and ex-boyfriend Sam France hit her during an argument, knocking out several of her teeth, my front teeth. This is where, by Elizabeth LeFay's own estimate, things start getting complicated. France retaliated with a restraining order in court hearing. LeFay opted to represent herself, confused when the court trotted out lyrics she had written before she had even joined the group. She feels like she fumbled the case, and a gag order was quickly put in place in addition to the already extensive restraining order. The gag order actually never happened. The judge didn't approve that. Foxygen would go on to release their sophomore album and write her out of the group's history. LeFay laughs ruefully when she recounts this. Her mistakes are obvious now. She should have sought legal representation. The final time she was slapped wasn't France's first act of physical violence. She should have concentrated on creating a paper trail rather than being so quick to forgive. You never think about it because you never think you're going to be dating someone like that, she says. That's a big regret of mine. If someone touches you, file a police report. She acknowledges that because she has a legal strike against her. Public opinion isn't very forgiving. People say to me online and on Twitter, well, you didn't win the court case, so you're wrong. She admits, people don't win in court cases all the time. Look at the cops killing people and getting off. Look at Brock Turner, who raped a girl and got 3 months. The system isn't a great example of where we need to be morally. The tweet calling for a boycott of Desert Days, one of LeFay's many attempts to reclaim her narrative over the last 3 years, might have gone unnoticed if it wasn't for Sean Lennon. As a fellow psych musician, LeFay had already approached Lennon via Twitter and direct message about sharing her story back in August. When he politely declined, the conversation lay doormat until he contacted her shortly after with the request, please stop calling for a boycott against Desert Days. In Lennon's eyes, it wasn't fair that the organizers, friends of his, should be threatened with loss of revenue because of one asshole. When LeFay declined posting the private message to her feed, Sean Lennon retaliated, going on to defend his right to tell her how he should speak about her experience for the next several days. It didn't matter that he was addressing a victim of domestic abuse. His statements got progressively more pointed, with little regard for the fact he was talking to someone who had experienced trauma and been silenced in the recent past. I know that if Jimi Hendrix had slapped his girlfriend, boycotting all of Woodstock would be ridiculous, he said in a Sean, in a now deleted tweet. It's not like I'm Beyonce and can say, okay everyone, let's not do this and people listen, says LeFay of the response, which kicked off a multi-day string of abuse from Lennon's fans. Having only just released her debut album, The Orange Glow, she has no delusions that are placed in the musical pecking order. It's weird that anyone feels threatened by a small group of people. It's not like we're a huge majority. I'm an indie artist, a DIY solo musician. What LeFay is asking, the removal of a band or the boycott of the entire event, isn't wholly asked for. Earlier this year, crystal castles were dropped from Tumblr's Feminism Celebrating South by Southwest lineup when former frontwoman Alice Glass called out the band on Twitter after Ethan Kath alleged she wasn't a driving force behind the band. Similarly, Northside Festival dropped the band Good English from its lineup after drummer Leslie Rasmussen petitioned the court on behalf of a convicted rapist, Brock Turner. It would be easy to paint both instances as people choosing to do the right thing, but doing so would ignore the commerce element of the music industry. In both cases, businesses risk losing money if they supported unpopular opinions by proxy. As LaFay says, it's the job of the people to make organizations aware of the potential fallout. LaFay further points out, that's what a protest is. It makes facility or the corporation think about what's selling. If Forever 21 started selling fur, protesters would inform the people shopping there about what they're buying. Sometimes those stores will stop selling fur and issue a statement saying they're sorry and they will change their products. If people make a scene, things will change. People are telling me that it's unfair because the store gives people jobs. With that mentality, there would never be a protest because it's always going to be something. I felt like I had no acknowledgement of my story. They just keep going on. It seems like people are more willing to listen this year. The media seems a little more feminist lately. They act like they care. This is a serious topic. I didn't make it up. Why would I? My whole story is available everywhere. He meant to hit me. That's not cool. An activist at heart who once stood outside KFC in a chicken suit. For her troubles, she had chicken thrown at her. LaFay can see her situation in the broader sense. Her story isn't unique. The National Coalition Against Domestic Violence estimates that 10 million women and men experience domestic abuse every year, and this is just projection based on reported data. As LaFay experienced, many victims are assaulted multiple times before filing a police report. Putting parameters on how women should speak out about her abuse or assault, or insisting that she only do it when there's no risk involved, solely undercuts the severity of experience. It's turned into a protest of, you're not going to keep me quiet. LaFay confirms, I'm not going to be quiet. Just because you guys are all telling me not to, it's insulting to me and to any woman. So many girls have sent me stuff, made me feel like, okay, this is more than just my story. They want me to take the stage for it. I will, because I'm not scared of what people think of me. Regardless of the outcome of her boycott, LaFay has already scored a major victory. Her story is being heard. Now comes the hard part, trying to figure out what her actions means to victims of abuse. When asked what she hopes to accomplish next, she takes a long pause, trying to wrap her mind around it all. Then muses, I want to help women stand up and use their voices more. It's not revenge. I want people to know what happened because I think it can happen to other women too. A girl reached out to me, told me she was crying as she wrote this, not because she was upset, because she was so happy. This conversation is on blast. She had been abused a bunch of times and never stood up or said anything. Maybe I can help other women. I'm glad the internet got a hold of the conversation. The feminists started coming out. It's really cool that there's this community. We have to have that community. What else do you do when you get denied justice? That's how it ended. Sadly, Nylon Magazine deleted my article about the right to protest, what happened with me at Oxygen, and my online fight with Sean Lennon. It was very unprofessional of them to write it and take it down. They shouldn't have posted it in the first place if they didn't agree with it. It made me feel even more silenced. It's a disgrace of journalism, to be honest, and it's hard for me to take Nylon Magazine seriously when they talk about feminism now. I just thought you should know what the real article was, and I'm going to put a link in the bio so you can click it because I saved the screen caps.